Happy Friday! It's about as happy as a Friday could be if you're white and living in Denver and don't live in perpetual fear of the police. Today's broadcast, this edition of the Denver Protest News, is brought to you by Whittier Cafe. No matter how cold it is outside, there is warmth waiting for you at Whittier Cafe. Whittier Cafe offers some damn good coffee with beans and spices imported directly from Ethiopia. You can order Whittier Cafe's amazing coffee in person and enjoy a socially distanced cup with a friend or four on their cozy patio, or have Whittier Cafe's signature beans shipped directly to your house. The best part of waking up is Whittier Cafe coffee in your cup and Millette's smile if you're lucky enough to catch her there in person. What are you waiting for? Head on over to Whittier Cafe, located at 1710 East 25th Avenue today. These sponsorships, by the way, are free to Black-owned businesses, organizers, and actionists. Email mk@fitnessprotection.com and nominate everybody Black. Yay! Now for the news. After hiding from the cold for 2 days, DPD made up for lost time with a murder on Wednesday afternoon. Yesterday, we felt pretty confident in assuming that the victim is Black because James Holmes, convicted Aurora theater shooter, will turn 33 in December. Last night, we learned that the victim is actually Antonio Blackbeard, 41, and he happens to be Paul Castaway's cousin. PSL is meeting now to plan actions for tonight, and a GoFundMe will be established for the family a little later in the morning. Paul Castaway also happens to have an 8-year-old son who needs winter clothes. Please Venmo donations to Cody Chang at the @ that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen and will continue to do so for the duration of this broadcast. I can vouch for Cody as well as the Venmo account. We've tag teamed on several financial projects together, and I trust him with pretty much everything. So that was 2 days ago, 2 days of holding off in the bad weather. It actually is a long time for DPD. And to prove it, that is the punishment given an officer who told a woman who declined a second date with him that she would be, quote unquote, incapable of staying away from him if he, quote, beat her ass on the regular, which totally explains my fascination with the police department, but that's also the proof that DPD is missing the point of all these protests. I guess beatings actually will continue until morale improves. So to be clear, because you see I'm a math person, the officer who referenced beating a white woman was given a 2-day suspension, which is more than 1 million times longer than the punishment DPD gave to Alexis Mendez Perez's murderer. Because 1 million times 0 is still 0. To be even more clear, this officer was reprimanded not for the statements that he made, but for going on the date in uniform and while on duty in the first place. Remember, we don't pay cops to go on dates. We pay them to murder Black, Indigenous, and brown people. Now, a little bit of news and advice from your protest mom. Ready to protest tonight after hearing all this news? Awesome. We need you. Here's some things you need to know. Now, you're aware of the FBI DPD joint raids in Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, Denver, and Fountain yesterday? If not, you might want to check Twitter. And if you're not on Twitter, you might want to check if you're really Block. Police are now arresting people carrying helmets, but no bikes. So today would be a really great day for people who own helmets and walk around the city at night to download at least a couple of scooter sharing apps so they have plausible deniability for having a helmet, but no bike. Another idea, don't wear your helmet when strolling around the city. Wear it when you ride a damn scooter. Put the helmet in a backpack along with a change of clothes, both to and from the protest, since that is how police are identifying protesters. Even better, coordinate with your friends and wear all black. I realize most people don't wear helmets on scooters, but they should. All scooter riders should be shook by the hit and run last weekend. This is your protest mom telling you to wear a fucking helmet. Sake. If you live in 5 Points, please come get your racist neighbor, that old white guy who doesn't realize he can't be on Nextdoor at all and pretend that he isn't racist, much less use Nextdoor as a reliable litmus test for the community as a whole, since that is where white power goes to die. Literally, no one but you, racist neighbor, wants to recall Her Royal Highness Candy Cita Baca. Just stop. Give it up. You're embarrassing yourself. Now, Mama Bear was going to be here to tell you about the events that cannot be missed this weekend, but she is helping an unhoused individual move his items out of storage fingers crossed the DPD didn't throw away anything that this gentleman considered to be important. The man that you watched being arrested and begging for mercy yesterday was released last night. Both of them were, and both should be safer this morning. Walla Moms is on it. For the weekend event, Sanctuary for All is hosting another dinner fundraiser. Order by this afternoon to pick up camarones al tequila, tamales, and hopefully freedom for trans asylum seekers in the detention center in Aurora. All funds raised from this particular fundraiser will be going directly to Tanya. From Saturday, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., there's a socially distanced sticky note writing party for candidate literature drops in a backyard of a private home in Highlands Ranch. We've discovered that these Post-it notes are a really great way to get your elected officials' attention. So these sticky note writing parties are going to be happening all across the country this weekend. Since we can't seem to find Mayor Hancock anywhere, his house is gated and really hard to get to. Plus, it's in Aurora, and who wants to protest there? Cops are even worse than here. And he doesn't show up to anything ever or seem to care about Black people, the police, or murder whatsoever. With that in mind, another way of getting to him will be the sticky note drops. These are happening in Highlands Ranch. DM me or email mk@fitnessprotection.com, and I will get you the address where this riding party will be had. It is not my house. I do not live in Highlands Ranch. God bless anyone who does. Sunday at 9 a.m., Gay Pride Boulder is having a parade. Parasol Patrol will be there, and they can always use some backup. Bring your umbrellas, your yellow shirt, and get ready to block the live streams of anyone who would try to interfere with Pride. Also, on Sunday at 12:30 to 2:30 p.m., the Caravan for Racial Justice and the Adams County Youth are going to unite for a Black Lives event. They also need all the help that they can get. Details on Facebook. Now, some of us, we're going to move on to what I know you guys are all waiting for, and that's the big interview that we're about to have. Speaking of people on scooters and badasses that you need to know, some of us were fortunate enough to meet this amazing person early on. Virya has been a fixture at the Capitol and at the unhoused sweeps these past 100 days and beyond. We like to call Virya our Buddhist grandma and get excited every time we see their scooter coming towards us. Without any further ado, get the name up here. I did not do that before we got started. The inimitable, the amazing, the gorgeous. We love her so much. Your Buddhist grandma, Virya. Yay! So we are so glad you're out of prison, and that didn't last too long. So I know the police are really worried about all these super violent protesters right now. So I thought it'd be a great idea to start there and talking about why you became a Buddhist. And as I understand, you did that just trying to reconcile it all with the violence tendencies of protesters and rioters. So you became a Buddhist so you could hit people, right?
Yes, I did. Because I'm kind of against guns, so I went the Buddhist nun route.
Sounds good to me. All right. So then you became a nun so you could break windows and start fires. You don't need a gun for that.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
That's what I hear. You know, when I watch 7 Days in Tibet. I'm just kidding. I'm never actually saying that. Are there Buddhists in there? So can a person be peaceful as well as a protester? Exactly how does that work? Because the police seem to think it's an oxymoron.
Well, that's what the media would have you believe, and the police. But yeah, if you just want to hang out with the protesters some night, even when there's some damage, you'll see that 99% are very beautiful, strong, good-hearted people that are just living true to their principles. They're wonderful. They're absolutely amazing.
I love it. So the only morons around here, in my opinion, are DPD trying to convince you that they're worth every penny of that ridiculous contract that no one but Candy Tabaka is going to call out in the city council meetings. Can't wait for the next one on Monday. Why would the police go after a Buddhist nun? And can you tell everybody how many arrested you at your home on late Saturday night?
Well, I was a little bit distracted.
Not on a scooter.
What? Pardon me?
How many police does it take to take down one Buddhist nun on a scooter at midnight?
I was a little distracted with all the commotion because they just swooped in on me. I was like crazy, like they were lying in wait. But a neighbor of mine said there were 5 to 6 police cars with 15 officers. So I don't know. I guess I'm pretty badass or something.
I mean, you are. You are. There's no question about that. But I'm still sort of, 15 feels a little excessive.
Yeah, it was a little. It was. I think because he said the whole block was, like lights and sirens, and he thought I had like done something horrible, and but he knew what I was doing. So,
I mean, I like to think everybody knows what you're doing.
Pardon me?
I like to think that everybody knows what you're doing because we get so excited when we see you coming. It means to us like, yay, grandma's here. There's something about having like the older person, the more experienced person, and you bring, when you're wearing your robes, I mean, there's just nothing like it. That is a sight.
Well, I'm older, but I don't know that I'm more experienced. But I don't understand why all ages are not out on the streets right now after watching video after video after video of murders by police departments. I do not get it. Why all the old hippies from my generation or any, the women's rights movement folks from my time, and why aren't there so many more people out there?
It's a really good question. What would you want people to know or hear right now if they are not yet involved or thinking about getting involved in the protests but have concerns about safety?
This is a community out there protesting. You will be very safe in the community. The only ones that you are not going to be safe around are the police. But if you're white like me, you don't have to worry about your life. And so we need to be there for those brown and black and indigenous people so we can buffer or witness or whatever we need to do. Because we are privileged. I am very privileged. I did not fear for my life when I was in jail. And if I were black or brown, I probably would have.
I mean, it's hard to reconcile all of this when we think about Antonio Blackbear allegedly was trying to hijack a car and allegedly had a gun. We don't have any proof on that because the police have not yet made a statement. We heard this from the family at the vigil last night. So he was shot 6 times for a crime that had not been completed. Yet Dylan Roof, who a white supremacist and mass murderer, as he's classified on his Wikipedia page, turns 26 in December, and that's a lot for me. Holmes, the Aurora theater shooter, turned 33 back in April. That doesn't seem right to me. 15 nuns. If nothing else, 15 nuns, 15 police for 1 nun. That feels like a real waste of my tax dollars.
Oh yeah.
If I can't bring it to humanity, I can hit myself in the wallet and be like, this is a waste. What am I paying for?
Right. The resources are for 1 arrest, and other arrests where they bring in SWAT teams to arrest 1 person. They bring out their SWAT every night and they hide in the shadows. And I'm sure they're itching to do something. So I mean, maybe Sunday night they just felt like they had to, arrest somebody. So I don't know. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of resources, and this whole culture, this whole militarized culture of the police is just really has to change.
Couldn't agree more. Any last thoughts or advice for protesters out this weekend? We got a lot of people that have been riled up and ready to go since your arrest.
Yeah, and there are things. It's not about me, there's so many stories every day of reasons why you should be out there. My advice is, I have learned a little bit here. If you're going to stick out, like riding a scooter, you should probably ditch the scooter for a little bit on your way home. You should change your clothes because they do follow you by what you're wearing. Let's see. I mean, it's just crazy how they do this. It's like a little boy's game. It's crazy. So I would say just be really careful. And they don't seem to be wanting to arrest you when you are protesting now. So it's when you leave the protest that you need to be vigilant.
We have a question wanting to know why you were arrested. What was the charge?
The charge was obstructing passage. In other words, a protest. You know, I got arrested for protesting.
You got arrested from blocking the street, obstructing passive traffic, so that cars couldn't hit protesters,
Right.
which is what we do.
That's what I am drawn to do as being part of the Wall of Moms and the Parasol Patrol and other things, and just being on my own out there as a Buddhist nun. I'm very scared that there are angry folks, a few, not a lot, with their vehicles, and they're going to ram into the protesters. The police do not seem to be able to control this, and they do not really even care. And if it does happen, like with the blue Jeep and Aurora, they are not charged at all. It's like they're encouraged to do this. So I feel like, you know, what I can do is be the buffer. They're not going to, hopefully, and if they do, I guess that's you know, my karma, run over an old Buddhist nun. I must say though, when I'm doing that, you know, 95% of the people in cars are there they're putting their fists up. They're very happy we're there. They're, you know, they are not irritated that they have to wait 5 minutes. So, you know.
So I feel like I try to, again, explain this to the people who are still conditioned to think that the police are there to protect you. When you are exercising your First Amendment right in the streets in a large group, the police are not going to stop a car from running into you or even charge the driver because you were the one standing in the road. Yet, if you stand in between the protesters and the car on the regular, doing the job that we have been conditioned to think the police would be doing, you get arrested. Even if you're not like imitating a police officer, even if you're trying to promote peace and safety.
Yeah, you know, thanking everybody who stops, you know, and, you know, hoping they have a nice day, nice evening, you know, very courteous, very, you know, no, I'm not going to be violent or imitating a police officer. I certainly wouldn't want to do that.
You'd be a Catholic nun if you wanted to do that, right?
All right. I won't go there.
I went to Georgetown for undergrad, and I had never met any Catholics before, and the stories that I heard about Catholic nuns still keep me awake at night. I was like, I had never actually, you know, I'm from rural Tennessee. Everything we got's bad. We think the Church of Christ is as scary as it gets. Then I was like, whoa, this is a whole nother level. Oh my gosh, they do that in school? That sounds kind of like what we do in school, only without the get-ups and the crosses on the wall. But before I get in too much trouble for that and the sun gets too much further into my eyes, I am excited. Hopefully I get to see you all tonight. Everybody that's watching this, there are many, many ways to get involved. And if you see Virya, please run out and grab them, say hello, and join whatever she's doing is where you want to be, because that is where your karma needs to be found. At least that's where I want my karma to be found into infinity and beyond. Did you guys say that, or is that Disney, Infinity and Beyond? I think that's Toy Story. I spent too much time out of your homes and into the streets. You're going to have to watch Toy Story 4 one more time, y'all. Don't do it. There you go. Fight the power. Make good choices. Be safe. And what's going on tonight? We're waiting to hear what's going on tonight. I heard that PSL is meeting now to see about an action tonight on behalf of the Black Bear and the Paul Castaway families. So stay tuned on that. As soon as I have more that we'll share at the events that we are aware of, will be coming up this weekend, and we'll be sharing them on the Facebook pages too. But all of y'all, consider yourself coached and loved and mommed all the way till the revolution ends. We're going to be here making sure that you know what's up.